As I am speaking to you today, a good player from Sweden is in the finals of the World Championships in Houston. And this is the second year in a row we've had a matchup of China and Sweden. Sweden being a relatively small country and China being a huge one. What I want to talk about today is sort of an extension of what I did last time, which was talking about table tennis philosophy. You can find stuff about the Chinese philosophy of table tennis, and I encouraged you in the last video to perhaps get your own philosophy. And since you notice I'm standing in front of a Swedish flag, and I am half Swedish, but broadcasting from the United States here, I thought we'd talk a little bit about Swedish philosophy and why it's worked, even though they're really small country compared to the competition they're going against, and how they have stacked up pretty well against China over the years. So first thing you want to think about when you're talking about Swedish philosophy is a concept known as lagom. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that correctly. The idea is just the right amount, moderation, not fussing over details, and it allows for a lot of creativity. One of the reasons that the Swedes have done so well is when they began to take table tennis seriously, they didn't just try to figure it out all on their own, but they borrowed the best techniques from several different countries. They certainly have borrowed heavily from the Chinese over the years, but they also looked at other countries in Europe, Japan, what's working, and took a mixture of those rather than to force it into one exact way of playing or one exact way of training. You'll find that there are a lot of Swedish players who have tried something different. Matthias Falk, for one, being somebody who has risen to the top levels and uses short pips on his forehand. There have been, Waldner would be the perfect example of a very creative player who didn't play exactly the same way 2 times in a row. Frequently, he would play as a blocker, other times play aggressively, other times play back as a lobber, and in ways that probably wouldn't have been acceptable to play in some parts of the world that were a little more strict with their approach. But you'll frequently find Sweden coming in second in a lot of things. I've seen it in soccer. There's a very good chance that they'll come up in the World Championships again and not come in first. But the concept of lagom being the right amount is a little different than the American philosophy, where it's like second place is the first loser. A Swede that comes in second would still have a lot to be proud of. I mean, anybody that would think about that logically would understand that. And Swedes don't really look at that the only way to be successful is always to be first in absolutely everything. I think that may be a uniquely American way of looking at things. But with a solid work ethic and a good mixture of creativity, players in Sweden have thrived over the years. I think it also helps to have long winters where having a good indoor sport is a great way to burn off some energy, and having had some success with many Swedish players over the last 20 or 30 years has created a culture where excellence is possible, creativity is encouraged, and it's possible to play very, very well in table tennis and keep it in perspective, not make it the only thing in your life. I think a lot of the Swedish players had a little more balanced approach, which fits in with the whole Swedish way of looking at things. Again, I said I'm from the United States. My father was Swedish. I knew my grandmother very well, and she had come over from Gotland, and I've been to Sweden once and felt extremely at home there. Realized I'd been living quite a Swedish lifestyle my whole life and didn't even realize it. But congratulations to Sweden again. They're doing very well in the World Championships, creating top players year after year and making it to the finals again. And hopefully they'll come out on top this time. But if they don't, it doesn't mean they've failed in any real way. That they're still coming up with the most creative and some of the best table tennis players in the world. Anyway, that's the way I see it. And you may have noticed I've actually changed the title or the name of my channel. It is Table Tennis Philosophy, and we're going to approach table tennis from quite a different way. And like I said, there's a lot said about Chinese table tennis philosophy, but there's other ways to look at it, and we'll certainly look at the Chinese way, but we'll also look at other ways as well. All right. Hope you'll give me some comments on this one. Appreciate it.